getting outside of yourself and allowing Him to be able to speak through you, to see through, let your eyes see through His eyes and hearing with His ears, and then letting your mouth be His mouthpiece.
Well, if I could interject, I think it's highly important that both her book, her ministry, the Institute, which is an ongoing work of God, I believe, in Albuquerque in this area, to help to both inform, educate, and transform. I think that people who purchased the book, and I recommend it, I've probably bought about 20 of them and just signed them and gave them to pastors and friends, because when you think of being submerged, you're thinking about going underwater, and people who don't swim are afraid to get under. It's scary. So I think for many people, the prophetic is scary. And one thing about Prophetess Buckley, and one of the reasons that when I knew I was coming, and y'all were kind enough to allow me to have guests, that she had to come because I wanted somebody to let people know that there is a source and a resource to help you get into the deep.
Awesome. So find out more about it. Again, you can go to the website. You can always call the station to get information. You can also call New Hope Baptist Church and get more information. Jocelyn, thank you for sharing that with us. And we're going to be back with more with Pastor Glani Ralph, who's the founder of the Healing Water Ministries. So you don't want to go away. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Well, before we get to our next guest today on God Answers Prayer, I want to encourage you today to become a member of the Keystone 4000 Club. Now, the Keystone 4000 Club are those members that have decided to make a commitment to give $25 or more a month every month to help with the operating costs here at Sun Broadcasting until the Lord returns. And you know, it is such a vital part of this station being able to meet its monthly operating costs. So call today, make your best gift at $25 or more a month, and that monthly income coming on and helps us to be able to budget each and every month's expenses. And we do have our regular expenses just like any other network, any other television studio, but the difference is we are sending out the gospel across New Mexico, and that is the true blessing. And now we're going to go to Gionne Ralph of Healing Waters Ministries with Linda Cobb.
Well, welcome back. We've got with us Bishop Cooper as well as his beautiful wife Nina, and joining us is Pastor Gionne Ralph, and she's the founder of Healing Waters Ministries. She's founder and pastor. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
So I understand that you used to be a part of this congregation.
Yes, I moved here to Albuquerque, New Mexico 21 years ago. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, and that was right at the height of the downfall, different things going on, single mother, 2 daughters, and I needed to get out of that atmosphere. And so I always say we were like the Beverly Hillbillies, the show. We just grabbed everything and we put it in our car and we headed for Albuquerque. I had never lived here before, never visited, but I felt God calling me to Albuquerque. And we worked in ministry at New Hope, youth pastor, worked with events, almost A to Z in any area that we could find. Just part of my life ambition or life ministry is just to help and to be used any place I can. So I've done it all. I've cleaned toilets as well as led service, whatever is needed. That's where I've been. Yeah.
And all of that was in preparation for him to launch you out deeper.
Definitely. I think often about situations that happened to me as pastor, and I say, that's what that was for. You know, that's why I had to go through that. That's why I had to be in that area, because God was preparing me for where I am today.
Yes. I mean, it's tough to come somewhere where you know nobody with 2 children, as a mama who's so concerned about her kids, but to be able to find a place where you're embraced and people care about you, it means the world.
It means the world. Let me give you a quick note on what it really means. My youngest daughter, Siobhan, was going through a deep depression. She had just, teenage thing. She had just been broke up with a young man that she thought was, the world to her. And she went into this deep, deep depression, crying, wouldn't eat, wouldn't get up. And I was not a member at New Hope at that time, but I remembered co-pastor. And something said to me, get up and take your daughter to New Hope. Mm-hmm. And I was on the west side, and we jumped in the car, and I put her in the car because I was fighting for her life. She was suicidal. There was so many things going on, single parent here, and I needed somebody to help me fight. And when we got to the church, they were just getting through with choir rehearsal. And I remember walking in, it was choir praise team, and walking in, and I kind of almost just laid her in co-pastor's lap. And co-pastor told the sound person to turn on music. And when she turned on the music, she told her to get up and dance. And I don't even remember if she knew that was part of the ministry that God had given my daughter. But she got up and she began to dance. And when she began to dance, the tears began to roll and the healing took place. So there's more to the connection that we have than just being a member. But yes, finding a family, finding a prayer warrior, somebody who knew how to pray and that was concerned enough to stay. Even it was over, it was time for her to leave, but she felt concerned enough for my family to stay and to help me pray with my daughter.
Wow. So tell us about how you started this ministry, Healing Waters, because he was already moving through you in that way, wasn't he?
And yes, and just to tell you, just like I said then, I saw the healing hand of God. Yeah. At the age of 7 years old, I went back and I began to remember when the spirit of rejection was put on me. I was in school, and I had a sister who I love dearly now, but through life, I really did not like her because of her gifting was so grand. She was grand. She's still gifted today. But as a child, I didn't understand the attention that she got and always the comparison. So at a young age, this thing hit me so young at 7. And from that point, life took me in a spiral of rejection, which also turned into offense. And I became such an offensive person, but yet my heart was bleeding. I love you. But I didn't know how to share that love without being offensive to others. And so it was very hard because I wanted to love, but offense was what I was sending. Right. But I wanted to love. And as God began to speak to me, there was this couple that came for a conference, and they brought the book Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Meyer. Yeah. And when they began to talk to me and began to talk to me about the mind and how God was teaching us whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things of good report, it helped me so much because my mind and the rejection and the offense always thought things were happening that were not there. I was always overanalyzing, always wondering if a person liked me, if they loved me. And because of that, when I would see them, I couldn't even speak in a normal manner like anyone else because immediately the shield went up. And so once I realized who I was, and I've been saved for years, but it took a long time. I was operating as a praise leader, operating as a choir director over many children, but working in offense. But once I was healed and God came to me, that's when I knew that I needed to help heal others because I saw the other side of those that were hurting and in pain, physically, mentally, saved but not delivered. And I saw that and I said, God, that's what I want to be. And I said to my husband, I want healing to be in the name of the ministry. And then he brought in St. John chapter 5 with the man at the pool. Bethesda, and he said waters. And so the two together, Healing Waters Ministry. You don't have to wait for the troubling of the water anymore. You don't have to wait in line for anybody. You don't have to complain because other people got in the water before you. Just get in. It's time to be healed.
He came for everyone.
For everyone.
He came for everyone. And you know, such a now message, because how many people in the church are walking around wounded, and you know, and it was just, and they've just been told, just get over it.
Yes.
And it's not addressing the problem where there needs to be healing. It needs to be brought out and examined. And you know, and families, growing up in a family is a hard thing. You know, regardless of where you are in the birth order, and things happen. And a lot of people think, oh, that's just so insignificant, but it's not.
It's insignificant, and it also taught me to be fake.
Yeah.
Because I needed to show everybody I'm good, but inside I was really broken. There's a song that CeCe Winans has out now, Beautifully Broken. And I was broken just so that I could be healed to help somebody else. Healing Waters is just that. I want them to see that the rejection, wanting to be in the crowd, but the crowd not being interested in you, wanting to be up there, or wanting to be among people, sitting at home, laughing and talking while you're at church in the crowd of people, but going home and going to a lonely place and sitting there, or even being in a crowd, but still the loneliness sitting inside, it can destroy you. It almost destroyed my marriage, my life, my job, everything. It was affecting everything. Saved, but still broken. But God had to heal me from the inside out. He had to show me. I had gone to an inner healing conference, and really that started it. But sometimes we do things, we hold conferences and we open up wounds, but we really don't have enough time to help heal the wound. We open, and so what happened was I got open and I realized, oh my God, I need healing. But I didn't stay in that place long enough to get healed. So then I was opened up to the place of showing myself again, which also put another set of issues on me where I needed to hide and not let anybody know what was going on. But God wants us to be honest with him. I heard you speaking to Prophetess about the heart. And once we can give God our heart and the mind, it is, just such a great feeling to be healed.
Freeing, yeah, it's so freeing. I was just reading a book over the weekend, and it was talking about, I guess there's some form of Japanese art, where when a vase or something gets broken, then they put it back together with silver or gold. And that increases the value of that vase. So the more cracks that have been filled in and the breaks and where they've filled, and I thought, what a beautiful way to look at things, because we come into this world and we look like a perfect vase, but it gets cracked very easily. But our value increases because of our brokenness. And to be able to embrace that and to receive the healing so that we can move forward is so key. So tell us now, I mean, you started this ministry, and how long have you had this ministry going?
So we are now 18 months old. We're very young. We're young. We're 18 months old, and we started in our home.
Okay.
In the living room of our home. We started there, and we moved to a facility on Atrisco, and then we were offered an opportunity here on 4th Street, and we took that opportunity. I love the location that we're at. We're right next door to a barbershop that's next to a smoke shop, that's next to a tattoo shop. And I said, I knew that this is what God wanted me to do. He wanted me to be in an area where people needed to be healed.
That's right.
And so we're right there. I call it, we're in the heart, we're churching in the heart of the city. You have traffic coming around. There's all different races, different lifestyles, all those things come into one area. This is where God wanted our ministry to be. So 18 months ago, we said we're going to do it. We've embarked. It's been hard. It's been good. It's been happy. It's been peaceful. It's been joyful. It's been hard. But it has been a place that God wanted me to be. I've also understood that the people that come in, it's like they find us and they're in that place right when it's time to turn, and they just need somebody to help turn
Yeah.
all the way over.
Yeah.
Somebody who understands, somebody who's not judging you on what you wear or where you come from. Maybe you have not given up any habits, but yet you're seeking, and that's all God wants. All God needs is for you just to reach out. We don't need you to clean up. There's nothing you can do, only God can do it.
That's right.
And so we're here for whatever way you come and be healed. Come to the water that's troubled. It said, one of the books I read about the troubled water, they believed that underneath the water there was, this was the time that God had allowed the angels to stir it up, and it was full of healing. Any disease, anything you had, if you could just get into the water. So was that fight. You could only get in while it was troubled. But look at where we are today with his grace and his mercy. The water is troubled at all times. So don't be afraid. Just get in. Don't worry about who's there. Get in, because there is healing that is coming to us, that is promised to us. We have a covenant, and the covenant is being fulfilled in us by Jesus and the shedding of his blood. That's all. No more laws that we have to pay attention to. What day should we sacrifice on? What day should we kneel? What side? Should we be in the east? Should we be in the west? The covenant, the law is fulfilled in Jesus. Now just come on and be healed.
I think about the temple and the waters that will flow from beneath the temple. And they start out narrow, and they just get deeper and deeper and deeper. And so will we step into the waters? But I tell you what I heard as you were sharing.
Yes.
I heard that you are an urgent care.
Jesus.
He has set you up as an urgent care place right where you are. It's not an emergency room in a big organized place, but an urgent care to be able to reach people, real people.